I'm Dave Crow, and this is my podcast, In the Nest with the Crow. So for this first bit, we're going to have 4 different girls on, and we're going to talk about dating and relationships. So basically, I'm just going to ask them some questions, they're going to give some answers, and then in the next episode, I'm actually going to ask some guys the same questions. So, let's meet our girls. So, how do you feel about your friend dating your ex?
Anybody experienced that?
Not really. I would never do that. It's girl code. You can't.
I've experienced like my ex hitting on my friends though, and that was not cool. So
Okay.
I would never do that to a friend. So I wouldn't like pick a friend.
Okay, so I asked a couple of my guy friends this, and one of them said, absolutely not, under no circumstances would I want you dating my ex. Another one said, I wouldn't want you pursuing my ex, but if my ex pursued you, then that's her choice.
I don't know. I feel like
I've done that. Like because he hit it on me.
Okay.
So I got with him.
if your friend's like okay with it, I don't think there's a problem. But I don't know. Like I don't. At least in my situation,
Usually there's a big red flag if they're an ex. So
yeah,
exactly.
But there's like situations where it could work out. I feel like we're just in those young toxic phases. Like we're not at those like mature spots yet.
Okay, now here's actually a personal experience. So there was a point where I was actually talking to my best friend's ex, and that just ended horribly. In the end, found out there was like a bunch of other things going on. She was seeing another guy, all of that. But when I asked my best friend about this, like, you know, if it was me and her, would you be okay with it? He was actually completely okay with that. Because he was just like, I'm not seeing her anymore, whatever.
if it's an old ex, like if it wasn't a poor shaker or something, like I wouldn't care. But if it was like something that like hurt, I would be happy with it.
So for me, it would also like, it depends on the situation. So,
I think everything does.
Yeah.
All these questions
are very different.
What's
It's all
gonna
about
work?
perspective.
What's gonna work for me is not gonna work for you. What's gonna work for Olivia in her relationship is not gonna.
Yeah, everyone's different.
Like their relationships aren't gonna be the same as mine because we're all different. And,
People are
we need different
complex.
things.
and
Okay.
people are brought up differently.
People
but
are
like for me,
complex.
it's like, let's say, like we ended on good terms. Let's say like this girl is back in my hometown, I'm here, we can't make a long distance thing work, and we thought, all right, let's break it off. And then let's say I go home and I find out that she's dating one of my hometown friends. Then I'd be like, okay, yeah, that's weird for me, but like I get it.
Yeah.
But you can't see me that often, but you can see him. I get it.
Well, I feel like it's one of those things, at least like, because I went through kind of a period of that with like a breakup and then like went into breaking up again because I'm just like, I have too much I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, you have to, if you're meant to be, you're going to fall back together. And you can't live your life worrying about something you can't control. And you can't control who's going to stay in your life and who's not. So you just have to love who's around you and who cares about you and just live with what you got.
And also, you can't blame the people for the expectations you have around them.
Yeah.
You can just blame them for their actions, like it's their lives.
Like, you know who you are as a person, you know, like, we're at an age, you're choosing who you want to be, you're choosing the kind of person you want to be, and that's what you have control over.
Yeah, she's picking her path. Like, you know.
I mean, like, what if we were on bad terms? Let's say this girl cheated on me.
Yeah.
Then I would be like, absolutely not. I do not want to see.
Well, I
this bitch
probably,
ever again.
if my friend's going after somebody that cheated on
They're
me,
not a good friend.
they're not a good friend.
Yeah, and also,
It's just disrespectful to you, and that person clearly doesn't want, like,
yeah, it's completely reasonable to be mad about.
why does your friend want to get with a cheater?
Yeah. Also, it feels like there's like a separation between like your school life and your home life.
Mm-hmm.
So like a hometown friend and a hometown like ex, and that's gonna kind of make more sense for them to be together.
Yeah.
And you don't have to really focus on that because you have your school life.
Yeah,
and you're not gonna be around
You're
them.
living your
Yeah,
own
you're
life.
doing your own stuff.
Making
Why
new
would you
friends.
worry about it?
Yeah, if you can't, and that's what took me so long to like get over and realize like having anxiety and going to therapy. It's like, you know, control what you can, like understand what you can't, and don't be upset about it.
Don't be like, don't
Because you're-
worry about the stuff
yeah.
you can't control.
You're giving so much energy to something that like it's taking away from you. You're giving energy to something that's not benefiting to your life. something you
Energy's
can't-
never gonna go back to you.
Yeah, and so
Like you're just gonna waste it.
you're
It's
just
never
hanging
gonna
out
go
with
back.
friends, like bettering yourself, getting good grades, like working towards your degree, making yourself happy. Because I don't know, my perspective is like, or like I just think a person's gonna come into your life and just kind of like click with you, and
Yeah, someone's better is gonna come.
so I don't know. I just
Someone's
don't.
better gonna come.
I don't need to worry about it, especially because I know I'm doing what I want to do right now.
Just gotta trust the process.
Yeah, just the
And just
process.
love and appreciate the people around you that are
Yeah.
like there for you.
Just enjoy the process and do your thing.
Okay, what about if it was like your guy best friend? Your friend dating your guy best friend?
I mean, my
I
sister's
feel
dating
like that wouldn't be much of an issue.
Oh yeah, that's
My
happening
friend
to
did
you.
date my
Yeah.
guy best friend.
My,
I feel like no, she
my,
does.
My friend in high school, she dated my guy best friend, and it was, I mean, it was fine. And then, but when he was like shitty to her, and I saw that, like, I stopped being friends with him because I'm like, if you're gonna treat me like that, like, I don't want to be your friend. And then she broke up with him, and I stopped being friends with him.
Okay.
my little sister is dating my guy best friend right now, and it's definitely weird, like, because there's things that like I don't tell my sister, and I like would tell him, and it's like I can't tell him because I don't want to put him in that position of like having to like choose between the two of us,
Okay.
and then there's like inside jokes that my sister
Oh.
hates.
And if they're fighting, you're always in the middle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I don't want.
That's
I wouldn't
the hardest
mind.
part.
I wouldn't mind unless you just don't like put me in the middle or tell me about your problems.
So
'Cause
that
I
was
really
what I
don't want to
said.
know.
Because I'm like, this is literally like the guy I hang out with all the time, and then the girl I tell just about everything. And when those two just start dating, that's gonna be awkward as shit for me.
Yeah.
It depends on the maturity of the relationship. Like, at least in my experience, like, when my friend, like, oh yeah, this was in high school, so like, your first relationship is gonna be hard. And it was toxic. I mean, it was. And it was just like, they were always fighting, and I was always in the middle of it, and it was like, you know, pick a side, pick a side. But like, I feel like if you can get over that and like realize like you can't put your friend in that position, and you can like have a good, like, it can happen. There's possibilities. It just,
I mean, there's possibilities, but I think there should be boundaries
Exactly.
about that.
I mean, me personally, I would actually be really uncomfortable with it.
Why is that? Just like.
I mean, I just feel like
uncomfortable?
it's like I've talked about this with my friends before, and I'm just like, first of all, it would just be awkward as shit because again, this is like someone who I've known like almost my whole life, and then there was the girl who I tell just about everything to, and when those two start dating, that's gonna be awkward for me. And then hypothetically, if those two break up, then
That's
that
really
reflects
awkward.
my life.
Yeah, because you have to pick a side.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
yes and no. I mean, you shouldn't have to feel like you pick a side. I feel like if they get in a relationship and you can set that boundary straight up, I feel like as a friend, you kind of have to support them because like they're old enough to make their own decisions and figure it out. But you have to at least be upfront, like, I'm not getting in the middle of this, I'm not picking sides, I
Yeah.
love you both. So even if they're together or they do split, like, you just have to hang out with them separately and you shouldn't have to pick.
Just put boundaries. Like, don't tell me about your problems. and
Yeah,
shit.
or like, I'm not gonna be talking to you about her and I'm not gonna be talking to you about him.
Like, you
You have to keep those boundaries, like, and I started doing that with my friend who's been in a long-term relationship. They both say things to me, and it's like keeping
She
that
needs
boundary. But if you're getting uncomfortable, then you have to get over your own insecurities.
Yeah.
Exactly. You just have to like talk about it.
Right.
Life is like, I hate like, but life is bigger than the things that, like, the little things that bother you, and it can't always revolve around those things as well.
Yeah, like life is not all about you, like your friend dating your best friend.
Yeah, because in the other aspect, those two could end up married.
Yeah,
Kids
yeah.
and
What if
stuff.
you ruin everything for them?
Right.
Just being a little bitch. Like
Like,
ruin everything, being
yeah.
a little bitch.
And that's why you just put up that boundary and just be like, I am still here as your friend. You can talk to me, but like know that when you talk to her, like you're not saying anything I told you because it's like it's almost like being a therapist. Like you can't violate that HIPAA.
I love how completely plot twist right now.
If you're meeting a guy for the first time, do you think it's appropriate to hug?
Hug?
Yeah.
It depends on the situation.
Yeah. I think it
Am I
depends.
drunk? Am I sober? Am I saying goodbye? Am I walking in?
Okay, I know here. Like I would hug because I'm from Brazil and we do that. But
Okay.
here, like, I know it's more like, I don't know.
You have to respect people.
Yeah, respect
Personal
people's boundaries.
boundaries.
If he goes to hug me, I'll hug him back. But if I see that he's just like kind of uptight or just not gonna do anything,
Yeah, that energy.
yeah, just like see the vibe.
Okay, me personally, like I wouldn't, just because I'm not sure if like they would feel comfortable with it.
Yeah, and that's totally understandable.
Yeah.
And so I have two different experiences with this. One of them is with you.
Yeah, I remember that.
Wait, I want to hear this.
Were you there? Was she
I don't
there?
think she was
I
there.
don't think I was there.
Oh, I was drunk running through the hallway last year, and I went
Oh, wait, I think you
and
told me
I
about
saw
this.
Dev, and I went to give him a hug, and he was anxious, which I get. Like I have anxiety too, and sometimes like it just you don't know how to react, and I was like, drunk, little happy, like I'm gonna hug everybody,
Yeah.
like.
So the first one, this was like I'd say beginning of freshman year. So this girl texted me saying that she wanted to go on a walk with me. So I'm like, all right, sure. So I'm going to meet her, and then there was a whole thing that happened that day. That's a story for another day. So I see her just like sitting in the grass, and then eventually when I meet her, she gets up and she's coming to give me a hug. And like again, that's not how I am. So I was like, as soon as she's like coming for me a hug, I'm like, oh shit, we're hugging. Okay. And it was just a little awkward.
Yeah.
And then the second time was with you. I'm like, so the second time that something like this
I
happened,
knew you. You're my friend. It was just like.
it was like you and I had snapped each other for like the entire school year, but like never once saw each other or ever talked to each other or anything. And then the cops show up on my floor,
I don't remember that.
Whoa.
I was like blackout that night.
and I was
But
like,
I remember that.
so they're
you
dealing.
texted me apologizing the next day.
No, that was a different time.
I'm so confused.
No, it wasn't.
No, it was a different time.
I only drunk hugged you once.
That was twice.
No, it wasn't.
Lexi, you're a hugger, I guess.
I guess I blacked out the other time.
Gosh.
So the cops show up, and then like I was just dealing with my friend, making sure he was all right, because apparently some guy like pushed him into a wall or some shit.
Whoa.
Yeah, so he wanted to call Ari on duty, but instead called the cops. And so the cops dealt with it, and so I made sure he was all right. All of a sudden, you walk out of Zach's room, and like Lexi says hi to me, and I kid you not, this is like the first time I'm ever seeing her, so I'm just like, who the fuck is that? And then it just hits me, I'm like, that's Lexi.
I was always hanging out with Zach and Casey. When I was bored, I just
I
go
forgot they
over
lived on the second floor.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was there like one time the whole year.
Yeah, because when Deanna wasn't there, I was like, you want to come hang out?
So like I walk up to her, talk to her for a bit. All of a sudden, she's just standing there like, I'm like,
I can imagine that in my head. It's just making me laugh. Hey, Deb!
You can't tell me we don't do that with our friends.
Well, we
after
do.
they say goodbye.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always hug my friends.
A lot of
Yeah.
people just like do that. At least a lot of people I'm around do that.
Especially when you're drunk, I feel like you want to
Yeah.
hug everyone. Like,
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's like if you like if it makes you uncomfortable, just tell them. Don't back
Exactly.
off. It's that simple to respect somebody. But
I mean, it's
just
like
my
it's not
way
like that
of
would make me
saying, like-
uncomfortable. It was just like
sometimes you don't know how to react.
Yeah.
Like not everybody reacts the same way.
It's
like,
just my way of saying you're my friend and I like you.
Exactly.
It's like, okay,
like I care about you.
if a girl was initiating a hug with me, then yeah, I would go and hug her. But what I'm saying is that you would not see me initiating a hug.
Yeah,
First time
I get that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Would you rather be with someone too clingy or avoidant?
Gosh.
Avoidant because I'm avoidant too.
Okay. Like, old me would say avoidant, but new me would be like clingy. Because I've dealt with guys recently who are very like, avoidant, and I realized I don't like that. And I want guys to like give me attention. I feel like I want someone to, I don't know. I never have someone actually care about me and want to spend time
They're
with me.
there for entertainment.
I mean, okay,
I'm matured. I'm matured.
like I want you to like me and shit, but I don't want you to be on my ass all the time.
Right.
And respect my
But this
space.
is a question of which extreme would you rather deal with? And I think I'd rather deal with clingy.
That's how I
deal with
feel.
avoidant.
Because like I'm
I
like
think I would be avoidant.
I
I'm so
overthink
independent.
everything.
Me too. Like I don't.
Yeah.
I
don't like
even need the
either.
guy.
But
I overthink, but I got to the point where it's like I can't live my life around like what somebody's gonna do.
it's true.
And it's like if you're like I have enough like to keep my own life entertained. So if like I don't know, with somebody up my ass, I feel like
Yeah, I
I
have
couldn't
like-
pay attention and do what I need to do in life.
I'm just like, I just want someone to like care about me and care about what I'm doing, but also I don't want someone to be like on my ass all the time.
I don't know. I'm just also very independent. And I have
Yeah,
enough shit
that's
on,
how I
I have
feel.
enough shit on my own.
Mm-hmm.
I
don't
know.
wanna be dealing
I have
with it.
enough to do on my own that it's like if I had
Yeah.
another thing like that, like to that extreme, I just couldn't like probably push me right there.
Probably.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I'm like, okay, so I was friends with this girl. I used to be friends with her. So she used to date this absolute like asshole who he cheated on her multiple times. He used to beat her. He was like, the dude was not a good guy. In the end, she always like would call me to complain about him. Sometimes when he was even in the room, to just complain about him.
Mm-hmm.
And so she would always tell me like, oh, I'm gonna leave him. Like he doesn't treat me well. And eventually she did when she found out the dude was gay.
What? That's a plot twist.
twist.
Yeah, I was
What?
I didn't see that coming.
Like this whole thing.
So
That's crazy.
I guess he's taking it out on her.
Yeah, I was gonna
Oh my
say.
god, he was
like,
projecting on me.
yeah, so then she came up here to visit me and my friends. So when we asked, she was about to go on a date with this other guy, and he's like from around this area. This guy was like, he was actually really clingy.
Mm-hmm.
So he always wanted to hang out with her. He always wanted to
It's
go
such
to
a
her
turn on.
place.
Mm-hmm.
And she was just
Like
like,
the avoidance or like the toxicity.
Yeah, I
It
just like
keeps
the
it
chase.
interesting.
I like the chase. I like some fun.
Should I change my answer?
It's like, why is he being an asshole? And then he calls you cute, and you're like, okay. it's
Okay.
That's not healthy, guys. We gotta move past that.
yeah, so
He's
she's like,
not delivered for 2 days, but then he calls you beautiful.
first like, you
So attractive.
you had a guy who was like literally treating you like absolute shit, and then you get this guy who like always wants to be with you, and now you're complaining about him.
That's
Well,
why
I did that. I've done that before.
you
Not
need
with
a
you.
happy medium.
You need
Yeah.
a balance.
Okay, what's a balance?
A balance
It's
is you
probably
have
not
your
at this
life,
age.
you have your life, I have my life, and then when we have time for each other, we have time for each other. But I go about my day and you go about your day.
Yeah.
I think a good example, I really admire like my friend. She's been in a 5-year relationship since we were 15, and they've gone through their ups and downs and watched like me and like other friends like relationships like start and end and whatever. But they like came through a lot of learning processes. They still are. But she like they both moved up here. She's trying to get into state. He goes to state. They each have an apartment with their friends. They focus on their homework. They hang out on the weekends or when they can see each other. They go out. We go out all together. But sometimes me and her go out, or he'll go out with his friends.
Yeah.
And
That's how it should be.
and life isn't always like perfect and happy, but like that is a better way to go about it, because we can all come together as a group, but they can do their own things, and it's being able to be independent,
Yeah.
but still do what you want to do and be supported.
Exactly.
Like I think at this
Yeah.
age and this generation, I think moving in together right now, being in college is too much too fast. So they like are at a good spot where they both like they'll have sleepovers, or like he'll come over and spend the night, or she will. But they don't do it every single day, and they have their own places too. Like,
We
you
just
know,
understand that like in this phase in our lives, like
still
nothing's
wanna enjoy being
stable.
young.
Yeah, nothing's
Right.
stable and nothing is forever. So
And I feel like when you move in, you lose that space because, like, I like even with like roommates and that, like you have to have that space where it's just your own and that, and like you don't have to deal with anybody else. But like with roommates and stuff, like they're in your space constantly, and so having that balance is like being able to get away from them to sort out everything you need to sort out, so that when you come back together, it's like
Right. That's a good example, yeah.
Okay, but like with this girl in question, she was seeing this guy who was too clingy. Then in like I said a couple months ago, she broke up with this guy, started seeing this new guy, and he was too avoidant.
so break up with both of them.
yeah,
Yeah.
she's just going
Problem
to
solved.
extremes. She needs to find a
Happy medium.
Balance.
Yeah.
It just like it might take time. It's just some of this.
Just
stuff
if they're not the
sucks in
right
our
people.
generation.
Because like she was going like first she called me
But
once.
she's allowed to complain about both of them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She called me
Yeah.
once, like when I was like about to go to class. She was saying like he's like my new boyfriend's acting weird. I'm like, okay, how's he acting weird? So she's like, I was just at his place. I left his place. I'm at work now, and like he hasn't texted me at all. So I'm like, okay, what's so weird
And
about
now
that?
she's not used to it because the guy before was up her ass. So now she's like in her head, what's wrong? And now he's avoiding
Yeah.
it. And of course, it's
You know
weird.
what? This girl just
I mean,
has
I
to
feel
be
like this is-
single for a while.
She needs
She needs to focus on herself.
I've told her that
She
multiple
needs a
times.
break. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like this is just a way of saying, like, I prefer brunettes over blondes, and when I start dating a brunette, I can
Wow.
say I'd rather have a blonde.
No, I'm gonna leave.
No, because I feel like I was like in and out of a relationship and stuff, and I like I'm not like a hoe or anything. I don't really do stuff, but like I like my independence right now. I like hanging out with my friends, and that's what I'm trying to find is happy medium. But I also know like right now where I'm at, I want to focus on me and put me first and do everything for me. Like hang out with my friends, but everything for my future is going for me, and at least getting a partner or anything like that right now, like. Not everybody wants long term, but my idea would be.
Yeah.
So it's like, if I'm gonna invest my time, it's like I need to have time to put into it, and I
I want
don't.
someone who's aligned. Like, okay.
Like embrace my future and I'll embrace yours.
Exactly. But work on our stuff separately.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like with your friend, I feel like, you know, like my grandma always tells me, like, you gotta kiss a lot of toes before you find your friends. And
Yes,
a lot of
you
it
do.
is just
I
like,
kiss a lot of toes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
a lot
Where's
of
my
times-
friends?
Yeah, you just go through them just to figure out, like, sometimes it's just to figure out what you want.
Okay, here's one that a girl asked me. Do you think guys have to be physically attracted to you in order to be friends with you?
Oh God.
What?
Do you think guys have to be physically attracted to you in order to be friends with you?
I think it's the opposite.
I don't think so.
I feel like if he's not physically attracted to you, it's easier to be friends with you. Because if he's just attracted to you, eventually he's
I got a good example of a guy who was my friend.
I don't know, because if he's attracted to you, he's like, he can be your friend, but he's probably gonna think about it. You know?
I don't think guys have to be.
No, but I don't think you always have to look at them that way too. Like I don't really like.
Yeah, we're people.
I'm not like necessarily. I'm not looking at my guy friends in a romantic way.
Yeah.
So it's like it's platonic, just like with my female friends. Like I love them all.
Yeah,
Like
it's
the love I have for them is
Okay,
so
but
unconditional.
Do guys really come up to you if they're not physically attracted to you? Like, usually that's the reason why a guy is gonna come up
That's
to you.
if they can come up to you, yeah. But I
Like if you're at the bar and
friend
I come
group
up to you,
thing
it's
is
kind of
different.
different. Yeah.
Friend group is like you can get integrated, so it's like it's two different
Yeah.
circumstances.
Yeah, I just feel like we can only treat people as romantic interests. Like, I can be friends with the guy, I can be friends with the girl. We're just people.
Okay, so when a girl asked me this question, and I said that I think this can go both ways. You could ask, like, do you think girls have to be physically attracted to guys in order to be friends with them? In some cases, it does happen. Like, there definitely has been some cases that guys have been friends with girls or girls have been friends with guys and have just been friends with them for that reason and that reason only. But at the same time, do I have to be physically attracted to them to be friends with them? No.
No, but sometimes it's fun to have somebody to stare at.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, that's true. Sometimes it just helps, you know?
No, because
Yeah.
like in my one friend group, like I wasn't attracted to any guys, and I'm not. But like one of them was
I'm
like
not.
attractive. Like when I'm drunk, he seems attractive, and when I'm sober, he's
Oh
not.
yeah, I know who this is.
I mean, it's like, okay,
I get it.
did you guys become friends with me because I was physically attractive?
What?
I can't answer this question.
Dad, you're not my type.
Yeah.
So no, I don't find you attractive in a romantic sense.
Right.
Okay, I just wanted to make that clear.
Gosh.
But you're still our friend.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, that's why I asked it.
I'm into short, toxic kings.
I'm into short, Jewish, toxic game.
Oh, girl.
I'm in a
I'm
skinny
They
white
gotta be in the trade. They gotta be like in the military, like
Yeah.
firefighter.
Skinny white guys, cigarettes.
Like
So
the more
that's my
toxic,
type.
like the better.
Guys who look like cigarettes are my type. Like cigarettes. The tall
Skinny white boys.
Unfortunately, they're
I'm
all
just making the
toxic.
point that you don't
They're bad
have to
for
be
me.
physically attracted
Correct.
to be friends
Yeah.
with them.
Yeah, you don't.
No.
This kind of leads me into another question. Do you think a guy and a girl can be just friends without at least one of them considering being with the other?
Yes.
Yes, 100%.
Friend.
It
Right.
depends on the friend, but I have
Depends
many
on the- yeah.
friends that I've never done anything with them. We have our boundaries, but yeah, I have friends that I may have done stuff with, and
Yeah.
that just depends on the friendship. Like, I'm always fine after it. Like, I can separate stuff, but
It depends on the maturity level.
Yeah, like I have a lot of like guy friends, and a lot of them like there is such a like line like I would never do anything, and then like, some of them well, one of them, our relationship kind of started off in like a quote, not romantic way, but like in a more than like friends way. And then after we became like really good friends and like we make out and stuff. But like,
It happens.
but like it's so platonic, and he's such a great guy, and like he makes me feel so like comfortable, and like he's just like a really great friend too. So it's like it's not like a guy I want to marry because I love him so much as a friend.
I feel like it's better to just keep the friendship because then you're gonna have the person forever. But if you start having a relationship with them, like you don't know. It's
I think when you start with a friendship, it gets kind of messy sometimes.
Yeah, so
It also-
I always
it just depends,
choose. I
too.
always choose the friendship over anything. So
Yeah.
it's very dependent on personality. Like
I mean, for me, okay, for
Some
me
can
personally,
develop into relationships and
Yeah.
be great for the rest. It just depends. At least where I'm at,
Depends
and
on
I
the
think what we're
person.
talking about is like
Yeah.
we have a line between like the friends we would do stuff with, the friends we won't. But none of us have really
Yeah.
gone in a direction of like becoming more than friends and staying that way.
so I was thinking about this question, and it was like, for me, I'll admit, yeah, some of my chick friends, I have like thought about it at some
Yeah.
point. And then
I feel
somewhere,
like a lot of guys do.
somewhere down the
Yeah.
road,
You guys have
it
to
just
do that.
hits me like I would just be better.
I feel like
off being
girls
friends.
do. I think girls do as
the
well.
only
so-
thing
Yeah,
with
girls do
mine-
that as well.
You can't. What?
It's so dumb. I just thought it was funny.
Yeah.
But like at some point, like somewhere down the road, it just hits me that, you know, I think I'm just better off being friends with them. So then I just
Yeah.
don't do anything.
Yeah.
Well, I think you can be attracted to someone. You can like their personality. That doesn't mean you have that like romantic connection. You don't want to date them. You know.
Exactly.
And you can also think someone's attractive, but not want to have sex with them either. Like I just feel like-
Attractive and just think they're a shaped person.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Like not even like because like you can admire them, but it's like you're like a 2 because of your
Yeah.
personality.
Exactly.
personality definitely. matters.
Personality can make you hotter.
Make you or
Yeah.
break you.
It can.
It breaks a lot of guys. So
You think a guy should pay on the first date?
Date?
Absolutely.
Yes.
I think so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
At least
If
on the
he
first
asks her
date.
out,
Yeah.
and is like driving her and stuff, I think as a respect, definitely, even if there's not a second date, but like, I don't know, like even when I've gone on first dates, like I've offered to pay, but
Right.
like at least the first dates I've gone on, like they
I
pay.
feel like it shows that you're serious about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It shows that you're mature. Like,
Like,
if
about-
you
like
But
this
can't you say the
girl-
same thing about you guys too? That you guys wouldn't think it's serious or mature?
But it
I think
also
it's just
goes
being
back
like
to
a
like
gentleman.
old like romantic.
Yeah.
I want my independence and all of this stuff, but there's still a thing with being respect and chivalry.
Yeah.
And just being those little kind things that it's like that you kind of grew up like I don't know. My dad held the door open for me,
Right.
like
Yeah.
I don't know, just little things like that. Like be respectful.
Yeah, I think it's respect on the first date, but like after
Yeah.
if you guys get
It's
into a
just
relationship, it'll be totally fine.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And I think with
And
maturity
everything.
is like the girl now being like all pay or like all like offering it.
I feel like once you're in a relationship, like that's totally fine.
Yeah, but if you're trying to impress
Yeah.
the girl, I just think it's.
If you're trying to impress the
Especially
girl,
if you ask her
yeah.
out. If the girl asks you out and
Yeah.
like you want it to be more like
Casual, yeah.
yeah, then it's totally fine. It just depends on the relationship because this is a
Yeah.
personal thing we're all saying.
Yeah, if like,
Yeah.
in my
It doesn't have to be that way. But like even when I go out with my guy friends, like we'll go get food and stuff, they'll pay for me. And then I'm like
Or
I
the
get-
bar.
they'll pay for me. And but
Right.
then I'm like, okay, they get mad and I try to pay for them. But like
Right.
sometimes I like get my card in the machine and it's like I don't know. It's seeing that sense of them growing up with that respect too. Like I'm not dating you. We have nothing there. You're just being like
Yeah, is that what your dad taught you?
you're just being a great like you just want to be nice. You just want to be a good person.
Okay. Alright, I hope you liked that video. Like and subscribe. Link to all my socials are going to be in the description. And yeah, grow out.
Oh my God, Deb, you just created a new friendship.
I
You
did.
just created a new whole legend.
Where have
of
these girls been?
podcasters.
I'm just kidding.
Bro, you better not say that in the podcast.
I mean, you started it. Wait.
Yeah, I haven't started. I mean, it's recording, but
Bro, that was so uncalled for.
You're recording.
It was so uncalled for.
Oh
Ouch.
gosh.
Edit it out and put in the bloopers or bleep it out.
Like if it wasn't a poor shaker or something, like I wouldn't care. But if it was like something that like hurt, I would be happy with it.
oh, the dude broke up with her right after fucking.
Oh,
Is
damn.
this gonna be on the podcast?
They both say things to me, and it's like
She
keeping
needs
that
it.
boundary.
You taking a milkshake break?
Yeah.
You might need one.
I'm gonna need a water.
I
break.
asked you guys, you said no.
No. I'm so.
Okay,
You're gonna have fun editing this video.
Yeah.
this will be so much fun.
Should we make like a bloopers.
Yes, at the end.
Yeah.
And then
Alright.
you should put the music, like, you know, the
Like Jeopardy music.
Yeah.
We get buzzers.
So we gonna hear what the guy said in this question.
Yeah, you're gonna hear what the guy said.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
I'd be so uncomfortable.
I'm just so
Alex May saying that she wanted to go on a walk with me, so I'm like, all right, sure. So I'm going to meet her, and then there was a whole thing that happened that day. That's a story for another day. But
breaking the fourth wall.
yeah,
Keep tuned.
Well, also I don't want someone to be like on my ass all the time.
I
either.
cannot take you seriously with eating that milkshake.
It's so good though.
I mean, you can keep eating it, but like,
Why can you? Okay, I just put it here.